about how to automate AWS virtual machine management with Python and AWS CLI tools. So I actually have the write-up for this video in my blog, so we'll just follow the steps as listed in the write-up. So in this tutorial, I will show how to automatically create and terminate Amazon EC2 instance with simple Python scripts. So before you get started, you need to have obviously an AWS account with admin or power user privileges, and also you obviously need to have some working experience of Python and command line, not necessarily in-depth knowledge, but at least the basic knowledge, and also have access to a Linux shell environment with active internet connection. So to follow along, you need to have the following installed: Python 3, Boto 3, and then AWS CLI tool. So basically on most Unix based system, Python already comes installed, so you can actually check if Python is already installed on your system by just typing Python or Python 3 as the case may be, and if it's installed you would see the version and some other details about it here. So once you've confirmed that it's installed, then you can now go ahead and install AWS CLI tools, Boto 3, and the other needed tools by typing in this command. So you can just go ahead and type the command pip install AWS CLI Boto 3 -u -ignore -installed 6. So you can just press enter to run that, but I won't run it. If I run it to tell me that I've already installed it. So once that is done, you can then go ahead and confirm that AWS tools is installed by typing AWS --version, and if it's been properly installed, you would get a display similar to this, and that shows you have the tool installed. So next thing we need to do is to actually go ahead to our Amazon AWS console and ensure that we have an IAM user created. So by default, when you create an AWS account, you're provided with the default root account. But to do this, you need to create other accounts that are not the user account, the root accounts. And to do that, you visit the IAM section of the AWS console. So once I click on that, it brings the place where we can actually manage the users on our platform. So I don't know why it's taking some time. Okay, so we have this page, and then you can actually go to users and add a new user. So you provide the username as whatever XYZ. Ensure you give the user a programmatic access so that we can actually communicate via code to our AWS account. And also you should give the user an AWS management console access so that you can actually log in through the web account. So once you've done that, you would also go ahead and grant the user the necessary permission. So you must ensure that you give the user the following permissions: the Amazon EC2 full access permission, and also the administrator access permission. Then you can give the others. The others will be for a subsequent tutorial. So once you've done that, at the end you'll be an AWS access key ID and a secret access key will be given to you, will be generated. So you need to ensure that you copy and store that at another location, at a safe location, so that you can get to use it later on. So once you have that, then you can just go ahead and do AWS configure in your terminal, and that would ask you for the access key ID, which I've already put in mine, and then the access key secret, which I've already put in mine, the default region where you want to be operating your account from, and then the other accounts. And then once that is done, you'll be set up to actually, we're then ready to start scripting, writing our script. So the first script would be the scripts that we would use to list our instances. So with any code editor of your choice, you can actually copy and use the scripts. So I have my own script. I'm using PyCharm. So I have list instances. So this is the script. Once you copy it and paste in your text editor, I've tried to comment it as much as possible. So this line is importing the Boto2 library. This line is actually creating an EC2 resource with the imported Boto2 library. And the last two lines, lines 10 and 11, are actually looping through all the instances in your EC2 resource, and then it prints out their ID and states. So once you've done that, you've created that, so you need to go to where the code, the location where the code is saved. I can list, and you can actually see that I have the code here. This is the list instance code. So to run it, you need to make it an executable. So you can actually just copy this and paste, make it an executable. And once you make that executable, then you can actually run it with the /list instances.py. And once you run that, if everything goes well, it would list the instances that are currently available in your account and the instance ID. Currently, I don't have any instance running on my account. Okay, I have a terminated instance. It's currently not running. I terminated it earlier. So, but if you don't have any terminated or any running instance, just show a blank page. So let's then go ahead to the scripts that I would use to create an instance. So I go back to my text editor, and then I'll go to the code which is called create instance.py. So here I'll also import the Boto2 library. I'll create the resource on line 6, and then I would create my instance with foreign parameters. So you create the instance with the create instance method of the resource created here. You provide the parameters, the image ID, and then the instance type. We're doing the T2 micro because it's the free one and I'm using a free account. And then you need to provide the ID of the image that you're trying to install on the EC2 machine. So if, for instance, you come here and you go to your base console or terminal page, we'll be able to see the default images that AWS platform provides for us. So by default, I am using the Ubuntu server 1604, which has this ID. So I'm actually waiting for it to load up, but while we're waiting for that to come up, so it's come up, then you go to the EC2 instance. I think I have an issue with the internet. So but basically, when you get the ID of the machine that you want to create, of the image that you want to create. So if you look at it, this is the AMI 4E79 blah blah blah. That is what I have in my image ID right here. So what this is saying is create an EC2 instance with this image ID, which is that of an Ubuntu server. And so once that is done, you can then just run that command, and then once it's done, it will print out the instance ID of the newly created machine. So let's go ahead and try and see if we can run this if the internet would allow us. So I'll just go ahead and run the create instance.py scripts, and what that will do is it will communicate with the Amazon Web Service, and it will try and create my server instance. So if that goes successfully well, then it will print out the instance ID of the image. So we can see that it's printed out the instance ID of the EC2 instance that I just created. So we can actually go back and list our instances again, and then we should see that there's a new instance that has been created. So while waiting for that, so if you follow the tutorial that says yippee, we have our instance created. So then the other thing that would probably need to do or want to do is to terminate instance, and that can also be done by following through this code here. So we can see that I have two instances, the one that I had earlier that was terminated and the one that I just did that is now running. So finally, to the terminate instance code, so if you go to this, you would see this is also creating the EC2 resource. It's trying to, so it loops through. You have to pass in the ID of the instances that you want to terminate. It could be more than one. So if it's more than one, it loops through all of them, gets the instance ID, and then on line 14, so on line 14 it terminates the instance and saves the response in the response variable, and on line 17 it actually prints out the response. So let's just try and terminate the one that I just created. So if we look at it, this is the one that I just created, which is running. So I'll copy it, and then if we look at, you follow the guide on the tutorial on the blog, so you can just run the command to terminate the instance. So I'll just do terminate instance, and then I'll provide the instance ID, and then I'll just press enter. So that would, if for instance I passed more than one, it would loop through all the instance IDs, get them and terminate them. But here I just provided one instance, and then it will get that EC2 instance and terminate it, and then it would print out the response that comes back from the platform, either it was successful or not. And then at the end of it, it should come up with a printout like this. So once that is done, would have been able to successfully list our EC2 instances, create a new EC2 instance, and terminate EC2 instance, all through a Python, through 3 simple Python scripts. I hope this has helped someone. Thank you guys for watching, and see you in the next sets of tutorials.